Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Vince&Al Podcast. I'm Vince,
And I'm Al.
and welcome to season two of. Oh, wait a second. I goofed up. Welcome to episode two of season two. Guys, thanks so much for joining us here on this ride. We're slowly growing day by day, and we're really trying to put ourselves out there. We're gonna touch up on some topics that are really grabbing at the public right now, and we're gonna wean in on what our thoughts are.
Yup. I just love how you said grabbing in the public. Yep, we're gonna grab the public. Uh,
Exactly. We're
yeah,
gonna
but
take one of those like Bo Peep staffs and just like yank them from the
yeah,
side.
yeah, that's what we do. But no, yeah, welcome guys to episode 2 of season 2 of Vince and Al Podcast. Vince, that's just so cool. I think I've said this before, but it's just so cool. Like we're in season 2 of kind of our dream, and just we had a mission, we had a vision, and we're kind of playing it all out. And I just think that's really cool. With that, yeah.
Well, no, what's really cool is you and I were talking about this beforehand that we started this in August or September,
August.
and we're really close to an accumulated 1,000 views total. Even if somebody clicked on it for 1 second and then clicked off like, oh shoot, that's not the video I want. Even then, though, that our name is out there, our voices are out there, and then for those of you who actually have sat down and listened, even if it wasn't for the full podcast episode, you heard our voices, and that's something Al and I have always dreamed of, putting our voices out there because we share the same opinion, and we would love to share it with you guys. But the coolest thing by far is being able to talk to some of you guys in the comments. So we're gonna continue to grow, and then we're gonna have a lot of new fans, and that for Al and I, that's just something that's really cool.
Yeah, it is. It is really awesome. And with the season 2, we kind of, and I know we talked about this in episode 1, but we kind of just rebranded ourselves. And once more, Vince and I were talking how we just love to innovate and to change on the fly to make this channel the best we possibly can make it. And for us to come out with our own 2 shows, to establish 2 different audiences, but then hopefully be able to bring our audiences together in these podcasts. Because for me, even though I love doing my show and I know Vince loves doing his show, I think the highlight of this channel is when we do our podcasts together, because we just have 2 different people. Even though we share typically the same viewpoints, it's just 2 different people, and it just makes the conversation that much better.
Speaking of those two opposing viewpoints, or sorry, the same. I can't speak today. Speaking of those times where Al and I normally we have the same opinion on things, I think that's about to change today. Shall we get into our topics?
Shall we get into our topic? Hit us up, Vince, with the first topic we will be getting into.
All right. I think that for those opposing viewpoints, I think that's gonna come in part 2, but I don't know. We'll see.
We will
So
see.
the topic I wanted to bring up, yeah. Hey, should we give them a breakdown as to what we're going to be talking about? Just like
Yes.
a quick overview.
Yes.
Okay.
Before we do that, I'm sorry. If you guys remember
You're good.
in season 1 how we had the dice, Vince, that's gonna probably go into the Vince and Al Hall of Fame museum, like all of the things that we've used. I just think that's really funny. But that dice kind of retired itself. Maybe we'll bring it back in future seasons, if we see need fit, or in future episodes.
Sure.
But right now, what we find is we just want to talk about things that are in style or in grabbing the public, as Vince says. And so right now we're just retiring the dice. And if you're new to our channel and you have no idea what the dice is, don't worry about it, because it is retired. So yeah, Vince, you go
It's
ahead.
retired, the Vince the Hall of Fame. I love that. That's so funny. Okay, so what I'm going to be bringing up is for those of you who did check out the new Spider-Man movie, Into the Spider-Verse. There's kind of a bombshell that dropped as far as one of the casting and who's playing Spider-Man. And then what Al is going to be bringing up is the very, very controversial topic of, is water wet? We're going to wean in on our there. And then for part 3, we're going to talk about a little issue you might have heard of called net neutrality. Is it an issue? Is it not an issue? You're going to find out from us. But let's get into the Spider-Man topic. So, yes, so for those of you who don't know, Marvel now owns Spider-Man, meaning that Tom Holland, Michael Keaton as the Vulture, that's like its own universe, and that is shared along with the MCU, the Marvel Cinematic Universe, which is with Iron Man, Captain America. Spider-Man's going to be making his appearance in Avengers Infinity War. I'm bringing that up because a lot of people are going to get confused. Now, Sony is having their own movie called Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse. Sony still has rights to Spider-Man, but they do not own him. Sony is right now really struggling for cash. So with, once again, I cannot speak. Oh boy. With Sony making their own Spider-Man movie, that's going to be a cash grab for them. So they're using a property they know they will profit from. So let's talk about this movie, though. The trailer was amazing. All of it. Al, I don't know if you can somehow watch it while I'm like talking to you, so you can get a reaction or not.
Yeah, I'm pulling.
If not, no worries. Sweet. As you'll notice, it's actually an animated movie, but it's the first Spider-Man movie that's animated to make it to the big screens. However, the colors are amazing. There's so many cool things with this animation, it blows me away. But at the end, a bombshell drops, and Spider-Man takes off his mask, and you find out that Spider-Man is an African-American boy, or young man, however you want to say it. And he is taking on the mantle he is Miles Morales, which is known as the Black or African Spider-Man. But not only is it just like a cool movie, but this is going to be a really cool character. People are clamoring, oh my gosh, I cannot wait to see Black Panther, because Black Panther is black, in case you couldn't pick up on that. Every cast from that movie except for the villain is black. Coincidentally, the villain is white. However, this Spider-Man, it's going to pull in all types of new audiences, and it's going to give the current audience a character they've been clamoring for. Al, I don't know if you're picking up on this. This is kind of a big deal because it's the first. They're following in these footsteps of, catering towards more audiences. Eventually, they're going to have Captain Marvel in 2019, which is Marvel's first female-led movie. I'm not saying I support all this. I do support all of it. But the point I'm bringing this up is, for those who heavily support all of these, this is kind of a big deal. Marvel has such great fan service, and they're really reaching out to the fans in this sort of way. So what's your opinion on all this?
For me, I just watched the trailer. I had to watch it. It looks really good. You're right with the colors and everything. It really pops out. For me, at first, when you told me about this, I thought it was just the first thing that I thought about was Tobey Maguire and his Spider-Man movies, which were classics when I grew up. And I thought it was really cool seeing, like, I'm not sure if you're familiar, I'm sure you are, with the Columbia, with the U, move, I don't know what they're called, like the production company. You know how it always starts out with, like, the woman who looks like the Statue of Liberty? I'm not sure if you remember. Anyway.
I don't really.
You don't remember?
I don't.
Okay. It's always, like, at the beginning. It's an intro. It's like... Whatever. But anyway, it definitely will bring back memories with its intro to the Tobey Maguire with his 3 Spider-Man movies. But obviously it's a cartoon. I was never familiar with having a black character Spider-Man. I never knew that was part of the comics. So that's something, you learn something new every day.
Right.
It is props to what Vince, are you good in there? Are you moving around?
No, not really.
I don't know why I can hear
to my knowledge, there's a lot of crackling on your side as well.
Oh, really?
Yeah, dude.
I'm like, bro, what's going on in there? I haven't even moved. That's funny.
Oh, it's so. Neither have I. I mean, I'm like I have something in my hand. It's a pencil, but I don't think a pencil's making that much noise.
All right. Sorry, whatever. um, that's the
You okay
funny
there,
thing.
buddy?
Yeah, that's the funny thing about our channel. We can get off topic. Um,
Oh yeah.
no, and I think it's props to the Marvel Universe. I love the Spider-Man Homecoming. The issue with what I had with the prior Spider-Man movies, well, actually, I never watched the Andrew Garfield ones. Never really interested me. But with the Tobey Maguire, this guy, I know he was in high school, but he was basically an adult, and it never really focused on the
Yeah.
high school setting. It always focused on, it was more of a adult kind of thing. And the Spider-Man Homecoming was awesome because it did appeal more to the high school setting. You know, there was the high school party and everything like that. And I just thought that was kind of the true definition of Spider-Man. And I love how young the character is portrayed as. Even though Tom Holland isn't that, well, he's young, but he's not that relatively young. Um, but what I saw in this trailer is this character looks very young. The animation makes him look very young as well. Um, I didn't really get to listen much to it. I tried to have it on mute because I know you were talking. But it does look really cool. It has almost 1 million views on YouTube. Uh, and it has 21,000 likes, and it came out December 9th. So it's still a fairly recent trailer. And I'm reading the comments.
Yeah.
There's a lot of positive feedback. A lot of people are saying they're excited to watch it, and it looks really good. So I hope it works out for Sony. Um, it has obviously no correlation with the Marvel Universe, but I like to hear more what you got to say, Vince.
Oh, well, let's talk about one thing. One thing that Spider-Man does really well are the villains. And here's another, kind of following along the lines of Black Panther. The villain in this movie, he's very unheard of. His name is the Prowler.
Huh.
And the Prowler can be seen in one quick shot. And, he's very retro, right? He has like a giant purple cape, purple hood,
I
and
do
kind of
see
like a
him.
cheesy. Yeah, and he's actually really cool. And what are his powers, you may ask? They're exactly Black Panther's powers. Kind of a cool suit, and has like razor sharp agility and razor sharp claws. But he's also played by an African man. So as far as voices, I've yet to look up voices for this movie. I'm going to IMDb right now. I don't even know if they have these listed since it was such a underground project. But here's the reason why I'm bringing this up. Al, this was such an underground project. I heard on a movie podcast listened to about a year ago that this movie's in development, but like you didn't even know the trailer came out
No,
until I told you.
I had no idea.
Nobody's really heard of it, but out of those that have heard it, it's resonating really well with the fans, and that's something a movie can't, claim that it does all that often. So I have to give this movie major props, and if you're listening to this and maybe you had no idea that this movie was out, well, now you know because I think it's definitely going to be one that should be on everybody's radar. And if you're thinking, oh well, screw this, it's a cartoon, not live action, don't forget that sometimes the cartoons are more faithful to the comics than the movies because cartoons are not afraid to do cheesy things. Movies steer away from cheesy things. So although this might be a cartoon and people might not think it's taken seriously, it's going to be a pretty good adaptation of the spectacular Spider-Man, also known as Miles Morales. And I do have the voices pulled up, and I kid you not, there are some very good voices here. You have Liev Schreiber, which for those of you who don't know, he played Sabretooth in the solo Wolverine movie.
Mahershala Ali.
Yeah, Mahershala Ali. He won an Oscar Best Supporting Actor last year for Moonlight, and he's been in Hidden Figures. The dude's been in a lot of stuff. Wow. So to see him, that's pretty good. I think Aaron Davis, I think that's the Prowler. I think that's his like real name. So if he's playing the villain, good for him.
So what about Shamik Moore?
To be honest, I've never heard of him, but I'm gonna look at him right now, see what else he's been in.
Wow. And I think, Vince, that's so cool how you Mahershala never heard of him, but because obviously I'm not in the movie scene, but you obviously really know your stuff, and that's really cool. Um,
I try to stay on top of things.
um, with the Prowler, I did see him in that one scene. He appears as if he's like on a motorcycle or something. And I also
Yeah,
wanted to look at Spider-Man's just his costume. Is that what you call it? His uniform.
yeah.
um, but it's kind of like the inverted Spider-Man suit because usually you have like kind of bluish sleeves and a red face and a red body, but it's the opposite where he has kind of reddish sleeves in a blue face and a blue body, which it's really cool. We saw this in the Avengers Infinity War trailer as well, where he had a different suit. Obviously, this was Iron Man's creation. But I do like all these different interpretations of Spider-Man's suit in various movies.
That's actually a really good point you made. Not only talking about inverting, but bringing up the whole thing from Spider-Man, and let alone like the fact that Spider-Man: Homecoming, when he gets that suit at the end and he denies it, but then he has that in Avengers: Infinity War, and even the Spider-Man suit in Homecoming, it was almost like it was red, but it had more of like a pinkish touch to it. People say that like, oh, they're doing Spider-Man again and again and again, but the one thing that I think people look over, which they should really be paying attention to, is that although they might be doing Spider-Man again, they're trying to re-innovate him the best they can by changing up his uniform, by giving him different villains. Even the villains that have been repeats, they've been different adaptations. So they're doing everything right, in my opinion. And I'm pretty much done talking about the movie, but I just think that keep it on your radar for the listeners, for us, because I think it's going to be a good movie. And even if it's not a good movie, just that animation style, if you can just get behind that animation, that's just going to be a fun movie to watch.
It should be fun, and it's in 2018. So Vince, maybe you and I can watch it together.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
All right. Are you ready to transition over to our next topic?
I'm ready, dude.
All right. Um, Obviously, Vince said this earlier in this episode, and this is kind of a topic that has, in a way, and kind of underground in a way, more with the younger generation. The question is water wet? And at the base of it, it's such a like dumb question, and it's just such a
So
dumb way to
stupid.
think. But like at a deeper meaning, like really, like there's so many things you could just ask, and I mean that's a cool thing that you can ask and ponder and stuff. But Vince, is water wet?
Absolutely not.
Hey,
Did we agree?
we agree on that. Water is not wet.
What? Oh, I thought you were going to be one of those people that would think water's wet.
Yeah, one of those losers, right?
Yeah, one of those losers. Well, okay, I'm sure you have your ideas to talk about. I was just thinking though, and I have to talk about this just real quick. I have to slip this in there, okay?
Go for it.
Okay. So essentially, when you dip your foot into water, your foot becomes wet.
Yeah.
That is because you did foot plus water equals wet foot. But if you change the equation and you do water plus water equals wet, no, it's water plus water equals water. Wet is an adjective describing what the material feels like after it has touched water, but water itself is not wet. Water is water. You know?
Yes. Yes, I do know.
You're being nice.
I have another question for you that will at first throw you off.
Okay.
Before I ask you that question, I'm gonna give you my viewpoint on why I also believe water is not wet.
Okay.
So I do agree with being wet as an adjective, and I'm going to have I'm gonna give you a kind of what is the word? I forgot. An no, it's not an illusion. A simile? No. You get whatever. I'm trying to think. I'm trying to have a big word for you. But anyway, we'll give the foot, for example. When you dip your foot in water, your foot is wet, right?
Yep.
When let's just keep with the foot, even though this is bad. When you put your foot in fire, your foot is on fire.
Mm-hmm.
But is fire on fire? No.
No.
Because fire is fire. So is water wet?
Right.
No, it's not.
Not a chance.
And here's my other question for you that will throw you off at first, I think. Is snow wet?
Ooh, that's a good question. I would say
Now be careful.
that. Okay, this is a little bit different, but I would say yes, it is. It is wet, and I might have just went against everything I just said. But I think that is because snow is constantly changing its form. It's neither a solid, a liquid, or a gas. It's somewhere in between a solid and a liquid. I mean, maybe it is a solid, but it fades to a liquid. So essentially, if one part has melted faster than the other, then that wetness is dripping onto what remains the solid.
And I think I'm trying to you're focused too much. I love how we sound like I love how we think we're like scientists all of a sudden. But
Yeah.
it's funny how you think about the states. But at the end of the day, snow is water in a different form. You know what I'm saying?
Ooh, Alan, you're pushing my buttons.
Snow is what else is snow? Snow is water. It is just frozen water.
Dude, okay, what is a raisin? It's a dried up grape, but nobody calls it a dried up grape.
Okay, but it is a dried up grape though.
Okay, well, what about a
even
pickle? It's a cucumber and vinegar.
it's still a pickle. I'm sorry,
Hey.
it's still a cucumber, but just in a different state. Just like snow is water, but in a different state.
I know, but nobody calls a pickle a cucumber.
Yeah, they don't. They don't call snow water, but at the end of the day, a pickle is still a cucumber, and snow is still water.
But it. Okay, but check this out. Okay, I'm gonna give you one last example. Okay,
Yes.
and I rest my case on this portion of the argument. Alrighty.
Right. Hit
But
me.
lettuce is also water.
No, it's not.
But you don't ask for a glass of lettuce.
Lettuce is not water. Lettuce is lettuce.
Yes, it is.
Lettuce is
No, it's not. It's
lettuce.
No, it's not. Oh my God, it is water, bro.
Lettuce contains water, and I don't care the percentage. Maybe it could be 98% water, but at the end of the
Practically
day,
water.
lettuce is not water because it has other things
Okay,
in it.
dude. Okay, so what if a deer pees in the snow?
Okay.
Okay, let's just say it's still 50% water, but now it's 50% urine. So it's its own thing now. It's snow.
Snow is water, and urine consists of water.
That's like the lettuce.
Listen. There are. I'm trying to. You know what, man? You're tripping me, bro. But listen,
It's a touchy subject.
lettuce is not water because it's the same thing as humans are. I think 60% water, maybe even 70.
Okay.
So I mean, with your argument, even though we consist of water, we're not water. Is that correct?
I don't know. Are we?
We're not water. We're humans.
Okay.
All right. I would say water in its purest form. Just water. The ideology of you being wet is that you have water on you. On you.
Mm-hmm.
So if, let's just say, if a deer were to pee on snow, and snow is 100% water, I wouldn't say. See, that's just confusing. That is really confusing. I would just say that you're wet because you have water on you. I think we took it a little bit too far. But at the end of the day, water's not wet.
No, at the end of the, yeah, that's right. That's true. See, here's what's really funny about this subject. You and I agreed, but somehow that agreement stimulated into a disagree.
That's so weird. That is so trippy.
This is such a touchy subject. Like, I don't. Okay, so today in government, we were talking about court cases. We talked about every single court case, but there's one we did not talk about, and that was abortion because it's such a touchy subject. To be honest with you, I don't even think the president or Supreme Court, I don't think they want to talk about it because it's such a split matter. So I'll tell you what though, I'm not saying is water wet as bad as abortion. That it's not even close. But it's just as touchy of a subject. If two people can argue about is if water's wet or not, that's an issue. That's like that blue dress or like gold. Was
Oh,
it blue or gold or white or gold?
I remember that. I remember
Yeah.
that. Yeah, and maybe one day we'll talk about our stances on abortion. Um, I agree with you that it's a touchy subject, so I'm not gonna talk about it at this moment. Um,
Neither am I.
yeah, I think I know what your standpoint is, and I'm pretty sure you know what my standpoint is. Um,
Yep.
but we'll just we'll just keep that conversation between you and I. Uh,
Absolutely.
but yeah, it's unfortunate that the other side believes in what they believe, I would say.
I think we can leave it at that. Yeah.
But with that upbeat transition, let's head on over to net neutrality.
Ooh. We were
Vince
talking about the government there for a little bit, but now let's really get into it.
and Vince, the crazy thing is, like, if I would have gone back in time to August, I would never think that the term net neutrality would be in a title of one of my podcasts. Like, that sounds so boring, but right now it's affecting not just my life and your life, but it's essentially affecting every single citizen in the US. So it is a big topic now. Even as boring as the term net neutrality sounds, it's it's in the title of one of my podcasts.
Yeah, no, exactly. It's when you and I first started this, we were like, well, let's just talk about things that we love, and then we found out that those things that we love stimulated to an audience that liked a little bit of everything. And on that dice, we had world news and some pop culture. But then we got rid of the dice and we're talking about just once again things that we love. But we can't pass this up. This is ridiculous.
It is ridiculous, and I know what your standpoint is, and I think it's the same standpoint as 90% of the citizens in the US, especially with our generation who have grown accustomed to and have kind of almost established a dependency on the internet. And it doesn't mean that the internet is going to disappear, but it won't have as much as an impact as it does now. And in some ways, maybe that's good because maybe we're kind of addicted to the internet, but I don't really care about that. I need the internet. My grade, my future depends on an internet. Vince, our YouTube channel, our podcast channel depends on the internet. A lot of things depend on it, and a lot of people have their jobs now connected to the internet. And just the way it's just very intricate and it's very, very delicate, this decision And what I also think, I think it's really funny. If I were to rewind even a month ago, I would have almost no idea, no clue what net neutrality was all about, why they established net neutrality, and yeah, that's basically it.
Oh, here's the thing. If this does not scream to anybody that this isn't a big issue, then this will advocate. That was a confusing statement. Point is if this doesn't catch your attention, I don't know what will. Here, I have a little story for you. So today, once again in government, we were watching the live stream of the net neutrality case. What's that right now? Is that at Supreme Court?
It got repealed by the FCC. I'm not sure if it's made it into the Supreme Court. I don't know about. I'm not really sure about all the details. Because I still, like I said a month ago, I had no idea what the term is, but I don't know.
We can just leave it at the FCC because in the title that I read, off the screen in the corner is that some guy was in the FCC and proposed a bomb threat just so they could postpone this their decision.
Wow.
And that was just some random guy walked in, says I have a bomb, and then they postponed it. So that really advocates to everybody that, hey, the general public does not like this, like, at all. They're willing to get arrested for saying I have a bomb just to keep their internet free and safe. I mean, the internet is, or at least, going to all these different channels or websites. That's just one of the really cool things about the internet is the fact that anybody can access it. It's slowly become a part of our freedom. And I feel like if you take that away, you're taking away a lot of people's lives. When I get home, I do my homework, but in between homework, I'll watch YouTube videos, I'll browse on websites, things like that. And it's like, if that's gone, yeah, I can play the Xbox, but that's not really doing me any good. I'm not learning. I'm not absorbing information like I am when I'm on my phone. And honestly, I don't want to pay for it. I'm already paying for a data plan and things like that. It doesn't seem plausible to me. I don't even understand how there's two sides to this. I don't know why it's not just one-sided.
And Vince, there isn't two sides. I mean, there isn't two sides about this. It basically is the FCC, the government.
What was that? It sounds like you were pouring rice like off of a waterfall.
What?
There was like all that crackling.
Oh, there's crackling going on?
Yeah.
All right. Is there any crackling now?
No, it just sounded like you were like pouring rice into a bowl.
That's what we do at the Al household. We pour rice into a bowl.
Very true, very true. I've been there a couple times. You guys cook up some mean rice.
We do cook up some mean rice. So whenever you come around, Vince, we'll cook you some more mean rice.
I like it.
But what I was saying, yes, there are two sides technically, but in terms of the sides of where the general public stands on, there's only one side, and that is this repeal is crazy. I don't know what. I don't know what they're thinking. I am scared in what the direction it is. I feel like a decision this monumental, I think it's unconstitutional for us as the general public to not be able to vote on this issue. And yes, I understand we voted on the delegates who then voted on this issue, but there's a lot of controversy within the FCC at this moment. There's a lot of miscommunication as well. We really don't know what's going on, and for us, this affects the general public in so many ways. Like you said, just the everyday dependency on the internet. But like I said, a lot of people have their jobs on here, and we don't know how it could affect them. Maybe it might not affect them directly, but indirectly it will affect them. And I understand when the Trump administration came in here and they had a big focus on big businesses. This is definitely a big business move. This will definitely um benefit big businesses, where you have internet providers who could purposely slow down your Wi-Fi, your service, so that you have to, you're almost forced to upgrade to their premium plan, or you might be running Verizon, but it purposely slows down anything that's directed to correlated with AT&T, um, and vice versa. It's hard. It really is hard. Um, my teacher, I talked with my business teacher, just like you talked in your government class, and it's just another thing that we have to pay for. And he drew the comparison and the similarities to when you select your TV provider and when you have, for example, DirecTV, where you want to buy the sports package or you want to buy the entertainment package or you want to buy whatever package, and maybe that will correlate over to now the internet, where you have to buy, for example, the entertainment package that would consist of Netflix and YouTube. um, this will be a capitalistic market now at a whole nother level. The internet will, maybe some internet provider offers a cheaper package, which will cause other people, other businesses to drop down their prices of their packages. But I remember being in my computer class last year, and my teacher said, bless the heart of the person who created the internet because they made everything free. It's a free service. He could have easily made bank. He could have easily charged people. And now that I think we've developed a dependency on just having the internet for free, we kind of took everything for granted. But at the end of the day, the internet's been always free and it should remain free.
Yeah, and I'm in complete agreement with you. That's a great point that the guy that invented this could be making bank. There was the one guy that invented polio, or not invented. He invented the cure for polio.
You mean God?
Well, yeah. The man upstairs.
Uh,
There's a guy that created the cure for polio and was practically giving it away. Imagine a guy that creates a cure to cancer and just gives it away. Like that's not going to happen. Not in this, the way we live right now. But that's a story for another time. The point is that right, bless his heart that all this has been free, and it makes perfect sense how people make money off of YouTube. Ads start to sponsor them or ad stream on their channel, and it's a version for them putting their product out there to be more well known, and there's a potential that the viewer could buy that product. Very simple logic. I don't understand why they're going to have to pickpocket us to watch a video anyways, and there's still going to be advertisements on that exact same channel. It just doesn't seem logical.
no, it doesn't at all. And I think it would be very big of a business to make a statement and say, no, we will not charge anyone to use the internet, and kind of boycott and take a stand. I think that business could establish a lot of credibility and gain a lot of respect. And whatever business that is, I would, I, I would definitely look into purchasing or buying their products. We don't know. I personally don't know exactly how this repeal will work. Um, to a certain degree, I do. And I think there's a lot of misinterpretation. Maybe Vince and I are misinterpreting it a little bit. Like we're still kids in high school, so what do we know? um, and I've only read a couple articles on it, and this is all solely based on my research that I've done in the past couple of days. But this is the majority of what I'm hearing from people. There's just it's not right. It's not fair even. Um, but listen, this Trump administration, what our country voted for. And I mean, I'm not a Trump fan. I would still pick Trump over Hillary Clinton. Once more, a story for another time. But his big focus was on big businesses. And, we're seeing his focus on big businesses with the tax reduction, and now with this net neutrality repeal. Obviously, Trump is a big business guy, and maybe he ran for government to improve his business. Makes sense. His theory behind it is that the better big businesses do and the less limitations that big businesses have, that can help grow our economy and stimulate our economy. And obviously, with a improved economy, it's better lives for other individuals. But I think it could turn out to have big businesses run a monopoly, run us out dry, and have even bigger gaps in terms of societal positions, if that makes sense, in terms of wealth. I think I kind of went out of my way in terms of what this net neutrality means, but it is just the bigger picture for the future of what I'm thinking about.
No, it's really true. And I was also thinking a lot of schools have just recently switched to, like Chromebooks or iPads even. Well, to go to access certain websites, things like that, that's probably going to be that there's going to be a charge somewhere. And I don't know if that would be a school fee or if that would mean that the taxes would have to be raised higher.
Dude, I have no clue. Um, I wish I know more, and we will know more as time progresses. But
That's true.
you do make a great point. This is an application or a website that I wasn't familiar with prior to moving, but my my student career, whatever, if that's the correct words, it depends. I would say 90% depends on this website called Schoology. I'm not sure if you've heard about it, but Schoology, what it is,
Never.
have you heard about it?
No, never.
Never. Yeah, I never heard about it, but it's very, very well run. It's very well done. I think our school actually has to pay a subscription for it, but I take this self-paced class in my school, and what the self-paced is about is basically just an online class. So she puts all of the assignments, everything on there. It allows us to view the assignments, open the assignments, do the assignments, and turn in the assignments. We can teachers have the ability to update and give notifications, maybe change of schedule and stuff like that. That's where I turn in most of my homework. I will take a picture of my homework and send it to my teacher through that. But I'm just thinking, and a lot of schools have switched over to Google Drive subscriptions as well. It's just, how will that affect the learning experience? How will it affect just everything? And I don't really think the FCC took that into consideration. This is all conspiracy, but the government is really honing in and trying to reduce our freedom in terms of what we can access, and they see what we view, and they hear what we talk about, and they use the skies of it's for your safety. And yes, they've been able to stop terrorist attacks, quote unquote. But at the end of the day, I definitely do see our privacy diminishing. And this net neutrality repeal will definitely reduce it even further.
Yeah, to be honest, there's really no way around it. It's just I think it's unexcusable, and I think it has to be put to a stop. But I'll tell you what's not going to be put to a stop? Wanna take a gander?
What's not going to be put to a stop? You go to the midnight premiere of Star Wars.
Star Wars! No, I mean, I am.
Oh, dang.
I am, but I'll tell you it's not going to stop. is our channel. What a transition.
Hey,
I'll tell you what, guys.
Hey,
Make sure you
guys better like and subscribe now and comment
leave.
below that Vince is an animal. That's what you got to do.
Dude, comment below. Vince is an animal or a beast or a hype beast, whatever you feel like saying. You know, we love hearing from you guys. A like really helps us out. A comment, you know, that gives us something to do to you know, look at one of our viewers, be like, hey, thanks for subscribing. Or sorry, not subscribing, commenting.
Bro.
But then if you want to subscribe too, that'll be even better.
Yeah, and also let us know if you're Team Vince or Team Al. Team Al merch. I'm just kidding.
Oh my gosh, we should do that down the line if we get big.
If this channel gets 1,000 subs, then yes, we will begin the Team Al, Team Vince, and maybe have some merch along the way.
Imagine being at the mall and I need to see a Team Al shirt. You're either gonna want to punch him or you're gonna want to like, hey, I'll buy you anything in the store because you're a fan.
I would buy a Team Vince.
I buy you lunch.
I would definitely buy a Team Vince shirt. I think I'm more of a Team Vince kind of guy.
I would buy a Team Al guy. T-shirt. I mean, you're a pretty good
guy. I would too.
Awesome. Well, with that, guys, thank you so much for listening. Putting up with our crazy talk about is water wet. I mean, who would have thought, right? That was like a 10-minute rant. Thanks for listening about our Black Spider-Man. I'm really curious to see what you think. You know, is it well received? Do you like the fact that it's an animated movie? Because they're not going to be afraid to pull punches and make some crazy scenes. Also, what's your opinion on this? Oh, you know what, Alan? Give me 1 sec. You can wrap it on home.
I will be wrapping it up, guys. No. Let us know. Just let us know about anything. If you made it this far, oh my gosh. Oh my gosh, if you made it this far, I just want to give you a big hug. Let you know that you're awesome. If you didn't, that's fine. This is probably just me talking to Vince, but it would mean the world to us if you have made it to this point, just to hit that subscribe button. You know, we're just two young guys, two dudes, two best friends, just doing what we love. And a subscription, it's all a bonus, but we love it. And comment down below. We want to interact with you guys. We want to know your opinions. Let us know if you're Team Al, Team Vince, even though it was a joke. Just anything. Keep it up. Really anything. And that's huge motivation for us. So this is probably our longest podcast in channel history, but there's nothing wrong with that because we want to have longer podcasts. Because I really, really loved spending this time with you, Vince, and talking about some topics that both you and I are very passionate about, and topics that are, you know, grabbing, as you say, the public. So that's it for me, guys. Vince is signing out. This upcoming Saturday, Fade from Silence episode 2 by Vince, and then this next Tuesday you will hear back from me with the Golden Goal Show episode 3. Can't believe it's 3 weeks in.
3 weeks in, man, and I am back, by the way. Just had to do a little something. But yeah, guys, be on the lookout. On Saturday, I will have my Star Wars The Last Jedi review. It'll be my second time seeing it, so I'll be pretty familiar with the movie. Let's get it, guys. Shout out to a great movie that I'm going to be checking out tonight. Hype is real. So with that, that kind of died. That was kind of a dud. Anyways, I was supposed to have like one of those ooh ah sort of effects, but that's okay. Anyways, guys,
we'll work on it.
Please like, please comment, please subscribe. We will see you next time. Thanks for kicking it with us on episode 2, and we'll see you in episode 3. Take care.
Peace, guys.